Hello and welcome again, ladies and gentlemen. Do you remember I said do not call yourself black, do not call yourself Black Lives Matter, because what does black mean in terms of law? It means that you have no standing in law. I've already told you this, but I'm going to give you greater solutions also as to why I created the Dictionary Club. So listen carefully. If you call yourself a black woman or a black man, all you're saying is that you have no standing in law. What does that mean, and why does it appeal that way? Because black is just a cultural thing. It's not pertaining to law. As long as those people that want to keep you in servitude get you repeating in song, in poetry, on tick boxes, like for example on the forms that you fill out, when you tick that box black, you are self-declaring that you have no standing in law. You see, the pernicious way that these organizations and governments and etc. work, and the banking infrastructure, is to give you something that is of no benefit to you, just like the pharmaceutical industry, makers of potions and poisons. So here's a solution I'm going to give you, okay? So I'm going to go through the presentation, listen carefully, and write a letter, pen a letter to that pernicious group called Black Lives Matter, educate them and command them to shut it down, because they're robbing you. They're robbing you of your ability to put pen to paper, your thought on paper, and then autographing it and sealing it with your creator's seal. So here's the presentation. You see, the twist in the mirrors, or the mirroring effect, is that they're robbing you of things that are already there and converting it into another world. A world in which you have no ability to contract. However, to shutting the world of fiction down is a lot more easier. I have found it for myself relatively simple because I follow the logic. So what I want you folks to do is just understand what this word means, called black letter of law. Instead of saying black man, white man, green man, yellow man, which are all just cultural coloring of the law, they have no standing in law. Use this word, black letter law. When you use that word in your contracts, you enter something that is beyond doubt by just initiating that word. So if that word was so powerful and the corporations did not want you to know it, what are the things that they will do? They will use words like Black Lives Matter, what ethnicity are you? Tick the box. Because ethnicity, mispronouncing it, it's a cultural things. And cultural things have got nothing to do with it being a creature of the law. What is you being, from this culture or that culture got to do with the bank account or your ability to conduct commerce? You understand what I'm saying? Because cultural differences are not part of contract. What is contract is your ability to put your thought on pen and present it to somebody else that will either agree with it or disagree with it. If the world of contract is that powerful, and the world of contract words that are that powerful, isn't it worthwhile for very pernicious organizations to rob you of words that are already in existence, like black letter law. Because once you put that in, your world changes. You understand that? Let's go on a little bit further on, okay? You now know about this word because I've given you that solution, not just the problem, the solution as well. Have you ever wondered why they call a youth rather than a minor? Do you know why? Because youth, literally, when you say Y-O-U and T-H at the end, you're saying that you have no ability to make judgments or contracts or any of sort, and therefore you need a third party, what they call a loco in parentis, to look after your own children. That's why they call it youth center. That's why they call it youth magistrates, youth crime, because they're basically saying you have no ability to conduct yourself in society, in the private or in the public. That's why they call you youth. That's why they don't call you a minor. You understand what I'm saying? All of these words have an incredible, profound effect in your life with your children. Just like saying Black Lives Matter. Black lives can never matter. You know that by now. It's impossible for you to become black or white or let alone yellow. I mean, just think about the absurdity. Of course you have. Let's give you another example. In the United States, 1995, minor is generally legally defined as a person, which is corporate, under the age of 18. However, in the context of alcohol or gambling laws, people under the age of 21 may also be referred to as minors. However, not all minors are considered juvenile in terms of criminal responsibility. Juvenile means that they are not liable for prosecution because of diminished responsibility because of their age. That's why you had juvenile services in the 70s. And with the twist and the turn of a tongue, people stopped using juveniles and went for youth, not realizing they've now made their children totally ward of state, all with a twist of turns. And now you have so-called pedophiles saying that we are minor attracted persons. So if a 50-year-old said that, he's basically saying to you with pernicious intent, in other words, there is more to what he's saying than meets the ears. I'm a minor attracted person. He's basically saying I'm attracted to people under the age of 21. And that's how they hide until you make simple statements like, hey, can you tell me what age group we're talking about here? Are we talking about like a 5-year-old? Answer the question, by the way, because you're under the penalty of perjury. And you're on a geometric level playing field. The whole world begins to change. In the 18th century, and it was fashioned out, as it were, round about the 1940s, 50s, people under the age of 14 were called masters. Master quite literally means that you have the ability to make your own judgments. Usually things to do with safety, not crossing the road by running across it. Judging speed of approaching cars, being able to play cricket and football and etc. But you're still not a creature of the law. That means you're still within your own faculties, like any natural creature would be. That's what master means. That's what they used to call them. Okay, now master quite literally means that you have the ability to judge. As a little boy or girl, that's the age of 14. Now, with the twists and turns, just like black letter law, what they're robbing you is this little thing here. Let me see if I can pull it up. So give me a few seconds. You see, even though you may be the age of 14 and below, to call you a master also means that you have the ability to order servants around, like police officers, like the judiciary and the legislature and the executive. That's what it actually means, is that this boy, this girl, that's the age of under 14, still has the mental capacity and the facilities, mind facilities, to be able to still give commands and even orders in and also commands to its servants. And its servants are the legislator, the executive, and the judiciary. That includes police force, that includes army, navy, air force, and of course nowadays space force as well. You get it, don't you? Of course you do. Remember, black letter law. Remember what the difference of a minor is, what youth means, what master means. Remind yourself, even though I've just said it, what does a master mean? You have the ability to give orders and even commands to your servants. And your servants are the armed forces, the police force, the politicians, even below at the age of 14. That's what they're trying to rob from you. But you only think of servants as being your maid or your butler, something that they would only, a word that will only be used with the aristocrats. You understand, don't you? Let it sink in. Let it sink in. Your 10-year-old has the ability to command, help, aid, as well as give orders to all of its servants, politicians, to judges, to the executives, etc. Can you see why I built and am creating as an ongoing project the Dictionary Club? Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you all the best.